Okay, so I'd like you to welcome tonight Annie Ryan making her fifth speech from the manual. The speech is titled, My Friend Wah. Annie Ryan, My Friend Wah.
Good evening, Toastmasters. I wrote this speech in the last couple of days. I want to take you on a journey and I want you to know about my friend Wah. I arrived in Beaumaris 11 years ago. I used to go to the local hot bread shop, the Cambodian family that had it. There was something about them that I loved. It was their friendliness. It was their acknowledgement of who you were. They wanted to know your name and they seemed to care about who you were. They actually seemed to be people from my own heart. There was something about them spiritually that I connected with. There was one particular girl. Her name was Wah. There was Hen Wah and there was Len Wah, but we just called her Wah. To my children, we always went to Wah's bread shop. I only found out how to spell Wah just recently when I needed to write a card to her. My friend Wah went to Cambodia last year on a plane to her brother's wedding. She showed me the video and she looked beautiful. She had a blue dress on and I can still see her dancing at the wedding. She was in her element. She came back and after that I went in there one day and I said, "How are you, Wah?" And she said, "Annie, I've got a bad cough." I said, "That's no good, Wah. You look after yourself." Next time I went in, I said, "How are you, Wah?" She said, "Can't get rid of my coughing." She was taking medication. "I'll catch you soon, Wah." I even in recent times worked for the opposition across the road at Baker's Delight, and she was over in the hot bread shop. But we were still friends. She didn't see me as anybody different other than her friend Annie. I was working on Thursday and I looked across the road. The blinds were drawn on the hot bread shop. My heart pounded and I didn't want it to be what I thought it was going to be. After work, I shakily walked across the road. I stood and I looked at her face on the window. My friend Wah, who I didn't know really anything about. I didn't know where she lived. All as I knew that she was a mum, she had children like me and she cared about people. She had a smile and she also used to throw in the free donuts, which the kids loved her for too. I looked and people walked past and they said, "Isn't it sad?" Do I go to the service or do I not? Are they the same religion? Would it be okay? Would I be welcome? I tossed it over and her brother's name was on the piece of paper. I picked up the phone and I rang him. I needed to tell him that I was sorry. I was sorry that he had lost his sister so suddenly. I went home to my children and I sat them down and we hugged. And we hugged each other because we were all going to miss Wah. So on Saturday, I got up and we decided the three of us would attend Wah's service. We went out Waverley Road to Springvale and we got to the Asian chapel. I didn't know what to expect and I didn't know what to wear, but I went with my children in the best way that I could. We walked in and there was a lot of Asians to the right and a sprinkling of Europeans to the left. I recognised another lady and we sat in the second row, me and my two boys. There was a serenity in that room I will never forget. There was a shrine over there that was colourful. It had food on it and it had incense and it had oranges and there were flowers and there was no tears but just a silent background music that just seemed to hum. It was translated in English and Cambodian, so every now and again we switched and the funeral directors would come and kneel beside us and let us know what was going on. The service went through, and then the time came. It was the ring of prayer. Everybody was walking in a peaceful way around that room. We were invited to come and join. I thought, is it okay? It felt right to do it. Said to the boys, shall we join in? And we got up and we joined in. And we're walking in this ring of prayer for our friend Wah. It was at that point that I got to the shrine that I realised my friend Wah was lying right there. I wanted to touch her, I wanted to say goodbye, but I couldn't. I had to keep moving. It was then I thought, my God, what have I done to my children? Have I exposed them to something? And all of a sudden, the peacefulness of this seemed to switch. And I thought, I went as a mother, Leanne, you would imagine, how have I done that? We sat down and my children smiled at me. And they said, we didn't expect that. And I said, neither did I. And then they go, oh, now you can see it's over. I said, that's okay. It was at that point that I knew that that was okay. Wah was walked out with her family out to the hearse. There was no hoo-ha, there was not a lot of tears, but a touch of the hand everywhere you went seemed to say, this is okay. When we got outside, we were invited to wash our hands in a bucket of fresh flowers. And we also sprayed it over our body because it was very hot. And then it was suggested that we join the funeral procession. Okay, Springvale Roadway, we were going past Wah's family home in Clayton. So we were going from Mount Waverley to Clayton and back to Springvale. Put your lights on and keep with the procession. The boys are going, who's got the lights on? We zigzag, zigzag, zigzag down Springvale Road, Clayton, but we managed to stay with Wah. We got to the funeral, we got to Springvale Cemetery. And it was at that point that I've been exposed to something I'd never seen before. Food, glorious food came out, and drinks, soft drinks, not beer, not wine, soft drinks. You must replenish the soul. You must look after yourself before we went to Wah's graveside. It was then that there was another beautiful service done for our friend Wah. At the end of it, the flowers that we had held throughout that ceremony and the incense were going to be our goodbye. One by one, we walked past the grave and we threw the flowers in. This is my blessing for you. And then we threw the dirt that said, may you rest in peace. And then the beans that said, may your family grow. It was the most beautiful thing I had experienced. And my children, we went back and we continued to eat. It was at that point that my son said, watch this, Mum. And the back end loader came in, filled the grave up, put the flowers on, and Wah was laid to rest. Thank you very much.